What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Boozer here, thanks for stopping by. In today's video we got some Plarium news here today for the upcoming events during Personal Reward CBC. We got Personal Reward CBC happening in 21 hours and we got a couple events happening during that CBC, so we'll cover that in this video. So let's jump right into it. All right, so here we go. We got the first day's event. I'm going to break it down into two different segments here so you guys can digest it a little bit easier. So here is the first day. We got two different progressive events, one for each day of Personal Reward CBC. Now keep in mind, obviously pulling during progressive events, you're not going to get some insane chance to get these champions. On a 15x, so your first legendary, you're looking at about 7% chance for non-void legendary. For void legendaries, looking about 20% chance if you pull a legendary. But the rates will not be boosted, so you're staring down these abysmal pull rates here, so keep that all in mind if you guys are planning to pull. Generally these are pretty bait events, but if you're a big spender and you got lots of shards, or you really want a champion, this is probably your best shot outside of some crazy double dip event where you're getting like 2x chance plus the progressive event or guarantee. But anyways, let's jump into this. So first things first, we got the non-voids here. We got the cat. We got the Demonspawn Cat here. Super good champion. I would love to have this champion. He's been an absolute menace in the arena, especially live arena here. He is spirit based. He does come with speed in all battles, which is really nice. He brings a passive here, which is really good. He has a kit that synergizes well with each other, basically applying perfect veil on himself, as well as making his attacks more potent with the perfect veil. And he has a way to keep himself alive. On a 3-turn cooldown, he can place block damage on himself when his HP drops below 20%, which is, very good. So he has a way to survive, of course, right? So his A3, he buffs himself first, and then he does an extra, an AoE attack, and he gets an extra turn if he kills somebody, which is great for any kind of damage dealer. His A2 here is a triple hit, and also additional effects if he kills somebody, placing Veil on this champion. And then his A1 has a single hit if he's under Veil, Perfect Veil, becomes an AoE instead, and his A1 hits pretty hard. All his skills scale off attack and speed, which is really nice as well. He has decent base stats for an attack base damage dealer. Good champ overall, and yeah, definitely seeing him a bit in live arena, which is nice to see. It's always good to see some of the new champions squeak into people's usage. It just means that they're not super useless, right? So anyways, let's move on. We got the Shadowkin here. We got Arashi, the Riptide, Arashi Riptide. I do have a showcase on this guy. I like his aesthetic. I think his kit works pretty well together. It looks like it's going to be a veil-based progressive event. But yeah, the passive event. At the start of each round, places perfect veil on this champion for 1 turn. Has a little bit of reflect here as well. If the reflect damage kills somebody, you get the turn mirror boost and veil on himself. The reflect's not busted or anything like that, but you could sneak out a kill once in a while, and then you get a little bit of benefit from that. I think the best thing about the veil is that it has a chance to reflect debuffs back, which is really cool. So 20% there for him. Let's go his A1. A1 is a double hit. Each hit has a chance to steal. It's a 100% chance. And he can't be resisted if he's under Veil. For a champion like this, you're not going to want to build accuracy. So the fact that he places Veil on himself, which is really good. So you don't need to place accuracy on him to do any of his stuff, which is really nice. His A2, single hit, ignore 25% of the target's defense, as well as shield and strengthen. That sounds good. We'll also ignore Stone Skin if this champion is under Veil or Perfect Veil. Again, he can place it on himself, which is really nice. And if he kills somebody, increase the duration of all buffs on this champion by 1 turn. So obviously, if he kills somebody, then you want to extend the Perfect Veil buffs so that he stays under Veil. His A3, AoE attack, places Veil, Perfect Veil, and increased crit damage, so self-buffing. Has kind of an interesting condition here where it's an AoE, but it's a single target hit damage, and it increases on each consecutive hit. So the first target receives the least amount of ignore defense, and then each enemy after that receive more ignore defense. So it's a little bit interesting mechanic here, and obviously killing enemies here also stacks up his HP, giving him more damage. This is pretty good. I mean, it has ignore defense in there as well. It's self-buffing. It's on a 4-turn cooldown, but like I said, his kit synergizes well together. He places Veil on himself. He self-buffs himself. He has ways to extend the Veil. He gets lots of benefits from the Veil, which is good. He doesn't hit super hard. That's the thing. I did play test him and he doesn't hit super hard, which is a bit of a shame because he does have a super relevant A2 here. It reads really, really good, but he just doesn't hit hard enough. But overall, not a bad champion. So moving on here, we got another damage dealer here, this time from Sylvan Watchers. We got Kaolite. Oh my god. This call him Ash Arrow. So we got Ash Arrow here. You know, people call him the R-Man's counter because of his passive. Whenever this champion or ally's turn meter is decreased, increase the damage of this champion's next attack. Whenever this champion's turn meter drops below 25% because of a turn meter effect, place a block and debuff on the champion, grants him extra turn. I mean, he's not really a counter, but he has ways to, you know, hurt R-Mans if R-Mans does something. Mainly the A2, right? If R-Mans uses the turn meter drop on your guys, then he gets more damage, and then, you know, he can get block debuffs and grants them an extra turn. He's not a direct counter, but, you know, he has some mechanic that can help. A1 places crit damage on himself, self-buffings, which is kind of nice. His A2, double hit, single target. If the initial target is killed, also attacks the enemy with the lowest HP. We've seen this with champions like Alice and stuff, can be okay. It's 4-turn cooldown though. Both attacks will ignore 50% of the target's defense as well as unkillable and block damage. Very powerful ability here. Too bad it doesn't ignore Stone Skin. That would make him pretty cool. But yeah, unkillable and block damage, so you can kill, like, you know, Siegfried or something along those lines. His A3 here is an AoE, 3-turn cooldown. Each crit fills this champion's turn meter by 10% and heals them by 10% of the max HP. So you're going to be, you know, critting all the time and then getting a lot more turn meter out of this. It's on a 3 turn, so you can get this back relatively quickly. If it kills an enemy, places an unkillable buff on this champion. Not a bad ability, to be honest. Probably similar to like Georgi, where he drops turn meter back on his AoE. And then to wrap it all up, we got attack in all battles. This guy actually doesn't seem too bad. Like, he has ways to boost his own damage. And honestly, this probably happens so often. His passive effect, this happens quite often in Arena. So having him with boosted damage 20% is quite high. And then, of course, ignoring 50% defense can be very strong. Don't see him too much. Don't see him used too much. But his kit reads pretty good. I never play tested him myself. And I don't see him played too often, so I can't really say. If you guys have played with him, let me know in the comments below. But he is up for grabs. So moving on, we do have Mortum from the Demonspawn. He's going to be up for grabs on day 1. I like using him. I think he's fun. He still brings the, obviously, the peril and stuff. He's still like a soft counter to some champions, mainly like lockout champions like Warlord and stuff that hit you and lock you out. This peril ability doesn't get affected by lockout. He also brings speed in all battles, which can be useful in a lot of settings, for example, like siege mode and stuff like that. I think the main way how to use this guy is still 6-piece Stone Skin, and then just rely on his peril. Let him get hit, rely on the peril to finish off the enemy damage dealer, and then slowly chip away at their supports. But yeah, I don't see this guy getting used too often. The last one for the non-voids here, we got Bellus the Reckoner. Bellus the Reckoner was a Deck of Fate champion for the Christmas time. Worth about, I believe, 20 Sacred Shards. Not a bad champion. He's got A1 decreased defense. His A2 is single hit, which turns into an AoE if they're under leech. The good thing is he places leech in his kit, so that's really good. He plays block buff and leech, which is pretty good for Hydra. Block buff's very, very important, of course. And he has a little bit of a turn meter fill here. It's very easy to get a bunch of turn meter from this. His passive's also very easy to stack up because he places debuffs pretty easily with his A3, and then he has accuracy in all battles. Like, overall, his kit is relatively simple, but it's effective. He's supposed to be a damage dealer, especially with his passive, but he doesn't hit particularly hard. So you can use him as a support champion that can pitch in a little bit of damage. I mean, if you have an AoE decreased defense on your team, he's going to be a direct upgrade from basically like Ugo, right? Because he can AoE leech instead of single target leech, and then he can place the block buffs, and then he can pitch in some damage as well. I'd imagine if you are, you know, earlier mid game and you had this guy, you definitely probably be using him. He's not bad at all. Okay, so let's move on to the Void champions here, and now this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. First up for grabs for the Void, we have from the Demonspawn, we have Chalco the Blind. Chalco the Blind is actually a really, really good champion. I do have a showcase on him He's an attack-based void damage dealer. His AoE double hits, ignores defense, and will ignore additional defense for each debuff, and also steals turn meter as well. And then also has a chance to repeat the attack. So a lot of stuff is going on here, but basically he hits hard, he ignores defense, steals turn meter, and he can basically multi-hit with his A1, do lots and lots of damage. His A2 here is a double hit, places block, passive skills, and decreased defense. And then he spreads it to everybody. So it's actually pretty annoying. And yeah, the spread is actually very, very powerful. Even though he has block passive skills on this, which is basically a PvP or wave-based, debuff, this is actually really good for spots like Hydra. And like I said, I play tested this guy. This guy deals insane amounts of damage, and obviously he has tons of versatility with the debuff spread. So definitely use him there as well if you guys got him. His A3, 3-turn cooldowns, and AoE places increased accuracy on your whole team, and then decreases duration of all enemy buffs, and then plays decreased speed as well. So the decreased speed is actually obviously very good for, again, Hydra. And this ability smacks. But the best thing about him is his passive, especially against Hydra. This champion is immune to all this hard CC, which is actually amazing. And then whenever an enemy attempts to place one of these debuffs on this champion, he instantly uses the Inducer of Pain. So he comes back into you with his double hit, which hits hard. And then he does the decreased defense, block passive, and then he spreads the debuffs. So if you try to do anything with this guy, he's going to come back into you and then lock out your passive and then spread all the debuffs to your whole team. It's an absolute nightmare. The thing is, against the Head of Torment, which tries to fear you, this guy's going to come back in with his A2 all the time, and it's just going to be tons and tons of damage coming in. And the last part of his passive, his damage increases for each debuff placed by this champion. So, but it resets each time he uses a skill, so he can't have permanent boosted damage. But he's lining debuffs all the time, so he's actually a really, really good champion. He does tons of damage, and even though you have to kind of build him out with a little bit of accuracy so that he can place debuffs and do the spread ability, he's still going to do a lot of damage for you. So, great champion overall. I wish I had him. Up next, we have Georgi the Breaker. So this guy, one of the good void stone skin breaking champions out there. Very high base attack, comes in with the A1, multi-hit with a chance for extra hit. And then he has an AoE here that pushes back turn meter, cannot be resisted, plays unkillable if you kill somebody. But then his big ability is his A3. It's going to attack one target on a 3-turn cooldown, ignores strengthen, stone skin, unkillable, block damage, increased defense, ally protection, and shield, extra turn if you kill somebody. So you basically use the A3, kill the stone skin nuker, come back in with the AoE, kill a bunch of other stuff. Really, really powerful. His passive is just crazy. Has a 50% chance of this champion to ignore 50% of target's defense for each hit placed by this champion's skill as a passive. It's just passively there. It's so insane. 50% ignore defense is just massive, of course. Hasn't been, completely power crept yet. The biggest problem with him is that obviously he's a very squishy damage dealer. And he has no built-in way to survive. So that's a big problem. But a lot of champions have this problem. But for Georgi, his benefit is quite high. So people try to make him work still. And he's going to be up for grabs on day 2. Lastly, that was for day 1. And lastly, for day 1, we have Khan the Branch Breaker. So like I said, he was a Void Deck of Fate guarantee champion. I don't think he hits particularly hard, but you can definitely manipulate his damage by stacking up buffs on him, giving him lots and lots of buffs, shield buffs, that is, shield buffs. The biggest shield buff you can put on him, and he's going to deal lots and lots of damage for you guys. He does have a little bit of extra versatility here where he can buff your own team with shields and strengthen, so it's kind of like he's self-buffing himself. His passive is also relatively useful for a damage dealer where he can remove a debuff from him. So if he's hard CC, for example, he has a chance to remove it, assuming he has multiple debuffs. If the hard CC is the only debuff, then he's going to be able to remove it, which is really nice. The other part of his passive does boost his damage, but it's for longer fights. And the A1 on this champion is actually really good, where he actually can block revive a champion with his A1, which can be really, really nice. Not many champions can do this. Obviously, like I believe Phoenix's A1 can do this, and he's an epic, but there's actually not too many champions that can block revive, so this guy can definitely be very useful, and he will be available on day 1. All right, guys, so let's go on to day 2. All right, guys, so day 2 is right here. So first up, we have Grand Oak Podri from Stone Watchers. Really good team-wide ally attack here. Very good champion. He brings speed in dungeons, which is a little bit underrated. Great base speed. Brings a cleanse with plus speed here and a turn meter fill. Sorry, he brings a brings a cleanse. So really good 3-turn cooldown ability from this guy. His passive is also really good. Just passively places the proper buffs on each champion, which is really nice. And his A1 actually really strong as well. Can't be underestimated. It's got a 2-turn reduction or a chance for it. It's a lower chance, but when it happens, it can be very impactful. So he's going to be up for grabs on day 2. After that, we have Stock the Broken. Stock the Broken was from the Ogren tribes. He was a fusion, I believe. Yes, he was a fusion sometime late last year. He places and increases the duration. So he places and extends HP, burns, and poisons. The thing with him is that he doesn't place HP burns, and he has abilities that benefit from HP burns being on the enemy. So for example, his A3, if you have an HP burn on the enemy, he places 3 poisons and weakens. So you get a lot more benefit instead of just 2 poisons. So definitely pair him up with some HP burners. You know, he does have an ignite on his A2. The thing with him is that he can't really carry like solo wise. He can't solo as well as, like, for example, Theodore, which has increased speed and then obviously has decreased speed as well in his kit, which gives him a good speed advantage over waves. Broken does bring, you know, 20% aura, which is pretty good. But he's great in a good team. He's great in a good team, and he does do tons of damage if you bring a bunch of Ogrins with him. Sorry, not Ogrins, but other champions that can benefit from his kit. For example, like an AoE HP burner would really help so that he gets a little bit stronger, or other poison igniters or poison extenders would be pretty cool as well. But he's still a decent option to help you do some damage in clan boss or dragon, for example. Up next for the non-voids, we do have Ultimate Death Knight. Now, Ultimate Death Knight, he was a free login champion a couple years ago. Totally changed the arena meta when he came into the scene. Made you know, Rodos' life a little bit uncomfortable, but he's still here. He's gonna be up for grabs. Great champion. I still use him a lot in live arena and stuff like that. Great passive here. Obviously, the biggest thing about his passive, you have to bring AoEs to bypass this passive. If you got single target hits, he's going to be soaking them up. He has ways to boost his stats. He has ways to heal himself. You know, he has shield, continuous heals, an AoE fear, AoE decreased defense, and provoke. Very annoying champion. You know, the way to build him out, you know, make him really slow, 6-piece stone skin, or you go 4-piece stone skin with bolster set or something like that. But he's just basically a giant meat shield that just protects himself and heals himself. He's still very good to this day. Moving along, next for the non-voids, we have Algore. Algore, where are you? You're a barbarian, right? Where are you? All right, there you are, Algore. Crimson Horn. He's going to be up for grabs as well. Biggest thing about him is his A3 does bring a AoE block damage. So you can build a bunch of teams around him. For example, Iron Twins. You can build clan boss teams around him. Not a bad champion. I believe he was a fusion back in the day. I do have this guy. He might not have been a fusion, actually. No, he was the partner to a fusion. Jetney. Jetney was the fusion and he was the partner. But he's up for grabs here. Nothing too crazy about this guy. But yeah, main thing is the block damage here on the 4-turn cooldown. So he can definitely be used in some of those clan boss teams. And our last non-void will be Bad Kazar. Bad Kazar, still a decent champion, like on paper and all that. He does bring the damage boosting passive here for targets under poison debuffs. He brings a 3-turn cleanse, which is solid, and then 2 continuous heals. Also places 2 poisons. I mean, this is a solid ability. It's a solid ability. Nothing too crazy, but it's solid, right? Solid. He has good base stats overall as well. Lots of stats all over the place. His A1 is an AoE and then heals everybody. I mean, it's not bad. Not bad. But he has been power crept quite a bit over the years. He's a bit of an old champion, of course, but definitely can still be useful for a lot of players. So he's going to be up for grabs as well. Lastly, let's quickly touch upon the Void champions up for grabs here. So first up, we have Senna Amberheart. Insane champion for Chimera. She brings huge amounts of turn meter boosting with her continuous heals, her activating of continuous heals, and then her passive basically filling up turn meter. She also brings increased speed and turn meter boosting as well, and then she also places continuous heals by herself. Great base speed overall. I mean, yeah, she can carry. She's the engine. She's gonna be the engine for your Chimera teams. You know, just giving them tons and tons of turns, giving them time to do damage and all that. She's also a reviver, which is insane. Speed in all battles as well. She had a massive value surge when Chimera was introduced. Great champion, would be a massive prize for a lot of people chasing high Chimera damage. Up next, we have Tuhanarok from the Barbarians. She is a very good champion. She has accuracy in all battles. She has a cool passive here that just removes one random debuff, similar to Doom Priest. Has a conditional 2 random debuff removal if they're under continuous heal. She can place continuous heal on her A1 and decrease speed. She also has this block buff decrease attack with a debuff spread, which is very useful if you are manualing the fight. If you're not manualing the fight, then this can go, you know, be kind of random. She does place increase speed and increase defense as well in a 3-turn cooldown. So she brings quite a bit in her kit. Very decent champion, good base stats overall. She's going to be up for grabs as well on day 2. And last but not least, we have the Super Turtle himself, Crisk. Very, very powerful champion. Great for PvE content, boss content. Very, very good. Has everything in his kit that you could ever want to deal with bosses. A1, AoE decreased speed. A2, ally protection, continuous heal. A3, provoke, increased defense, increased speed. And then he has a passive here that brings a shield to start the fight. And he can bring decreased attack, decreased defense when he is hit. He brings so much. Pair him in a hex set and now he can land hex, for example. Give him a protection set and now he can give you tons and tons of damage because he lands 4 buffs. You know, just an insane champion, right? He does so much. Ridiculously slow speed, especially by today's standards. But you know, this could be, if this was 104, that would be like the one weak spot in his kit, where his speed is a little bit on the slow side, but still one of the best champions, at least for PvE carries. Great carry here. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that little breakdown here. These events will be going on during the personal reward CVC. That's gonna be happening in about 20 hours. Like I said, guys, pulling during progressive events is a bit of a long shot for whatever desired champion you have. So keep that in mind. It's not the best opportunity to basically gamble your shards away, but if you guys are so inclined, there you guys go. Best of luck to you guys. Anyways, that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching to the end. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.